What's up, Bulldogs? All right, I wasn't planning on making a video today, but I got a question from one of my coaching clients, and I thought, hey, this is a great video topic. So he said here he wanted some guidance on when to step in, essentially, with his wife, with protecting, being the man. And he said, for example, when we were in a market, my wife was haggling on a price with a street vendor. Another male street vendor came up and kind of boxed her in, and she said, no, it's too much. I pushed between the two men, grabbed her by the arm and said, she said no, and pulled her out. In the end, they gave her her price. He said, to me, this was black and white. I'm the man. These dudes are using physical presence to intimidate her, be the protector. This one, and he's got a specific issue, which I won't get into. He said, is kind of squishy. One where this guy's my wife's friend's husband, okay? So how do I make the determination of this is my job to step in? Even if it's just a feeling that you look for, it would be helpful to know. So I'm not going to get into the details because I don't want to talk about the issues that he's got going on. But essentially, he's got a situation where there's a person in his life that is one of his wife's friends, the husband, where they're doing him a favor, and this guy seems to be a little bit overextending his reach in terms of the hospitality that they're providing him, right? So that should keep it anonymous enough. But the big question here is, like, when is it your job to step in as a man? When do you protect? When do you go in and take care of things? And my answer is always. So what do I mean by this? It's interesting because I was just on a podcast, an interview on Instagram for this podcast that my wife and I did an interview on called Charlene Byers. It's Love Stories by Charlene Byers, right? Really awesome podcast. Charlene is awesome. Her husband's awesome as well. So in that, I was talking about how many guys, they don't step up when they need to because they think it needs to be fair, right? So many guys, when they're with a partner, their wife, their girlfriend, they get upset because they feel like they shouldn't have to do everything as the man. The woman should be pulling her weight. And that's not how that works in terms of being the man, right? So the masculine in the relationship, the man, he needs to do more. He needs to step up because his role is one of the protector, the provider, the organizer, the one who is really in charge, right? Who is running the show. All right. And so the logic, the planning ahead, these things are all in your domain as a man. A woman, what is her role? It's the feminine. It's to be protected. It's to be provided for. It's to be feminine. It's to be nurturing and caring, right? I'm not saying that women can't contribute in some way to the relationship, but what I'm saying is that is her primary role. It's your role as a man to take on the other things. So why am I saying all this to answer this question? Because you have to understand this to really understand the answer to this question, which is when I say always, what I mean by this is that, and what we're talking about in this interview, is I was saying that, look, for example, when a guy books a trip, right? Let's say you guys are going on vacation. Your job as the man is to figure out all the logistics. You book the flights, you book the hotels, you plan out all of these things. Many guys are like, oh, well, my wife takes care of that stuff. No. I get that she can. And I get that she does. But no, same thing with the checkbook. You got the checkbook. She doesn't have the checkbook. She doesn't even need to know how much money is in the account, really. That sounds archaic when I'm saying this. But reality is that you should be managing the finances. You should be the one who is taking into account the financial future, who is... Why am I saying this? Am I saying this because I'm a male chauvinist pig and I think women are incapable and they should just be good little women and just be quiet? No, I'm not saying it because of that. I'm saying that because that's the masculine role and you want your woman to be feminine. I'm saying this because you don't want the woman in your life to be stressing out about money. You don't want her to be stressing out about logistics. You don't want her to have to deal with all of these burdens and stresses in life. You want to take as much stress off of her as possible, and you take that on as a man. Why? So that she can be in her feminine. When she's in her feminine, what's going to happen? Well, she's going to open up sexually to you, but that's not the only reason. She's going to be in a nurturing mode, which is going to be helpful for your interactions with her. It's going to be helpful for her raising children and being kind and patient with them, right? And it's just going to create a better dynamic in the relationship because she's going to trust you and rely on you. She's not going to be in her masculine. A woman can do all of these things. A woman can protect herself to a degree. She can defend herself. She can speak up for herself. She can book travel arrangements. She can make logistical plans. She can plan out the financial future. She could be the CEO of a major Fortune 500 company. However, it's not the best. It's not going to bring out the feminine. She can do that by being in her masculine. Do you want a woman in her masculine? You probably don't, because you will see how a woman acts in her masculine, right? So getting back to this question, so when do you know, when do you step up? Always. You always want to figure out, can you take the burden off of her, right? So in this particular situation, without getting into too many of the details, what's my answer to this question? It's to completely shield her from having to deal with this. And yeah, there's maybe in the situation interaction with the friendship and that, and you might say, well, I don't want to overstep my bounds. I don't want to upset her. That's fine. It's good that you feel that way, but you have to do it anyway, because as a man, your role is to determine what is good for her, what is good for the relationship. And I know that sometimes it sounds really archaic when I say these things, but it is true, right? You have to be that guidance. And so she might not like what you're doing. She might not like when you're stepping in. She might not like when you're taking over something and taking care of the thing and doing the thing that needs to be done. She might feel like you're interfering. She might feel like you're overstepping your bounds. It doesn't matter. Right? Again, I'm not saying to not have compassion and to be kind in doing this, but you have to be firm in this. You have to see a situation that is causing her distress or problem, and you have to take that burden off of her, right? Even if you necessarily don't agree with it, right? There's many situations where I've been in my relationship with my wife, in my marriage, where she's stressing out about something that is ridiculous. It's silly. There's no need to stress out about this thing. It's really not a problem. However, I will go ahead and take that burden off her anyway. Something that she's worried about, that there's really no need to worry about this thing, but I'm going to go ahead and take care of that thing anyway. I'm going to go ahead and do the thing just so that she doesn't have to worry about this. I got it, babe. Right? That's the mindset that you have to have as a man. Now, why are so many men resistant to this? Why might you be resistant to this watching this video? Because it's not easy, because it means that you're going to take on more than your share. But that's what it means to be a man. That's what it means to take pride in being a man. That's what it means to be the authority and the leader, is to take full responsibility, right? And so the answer is that you step in anytime that you can. You basically want to think about, how can I de-stress this woman as much as possible? How much stuff can I take off of her as possible? Right? Now, again, that doesn't mean that a woman isn't accountable, that she isn't accountable for her own actions. But what it means is that you don't look at, okay, well, we need to share this load, or this is her problem and this is my problem. No, her problems are your problem. Okay? And if you don't believe me, they will become your problem anyway. Like, so you can deal with things directly by taking them over and taking care of them, or you can deal with them indirectly by her bitching and whining about it, because that's what's going to happen. You know this will happen. You know what's going to happen is that if you're not taking care of the problem and she's stressing about it, she's going to whine and complain about this thing. It's going to be an annoyance to you, honestly, right? Whereas, yeah, it is a mild discomfort or annoyance for you to take over something or to take care of something, especially something that doesn't even need to be done. However, that is something that you can handle as a man, and at least you can take some action and take care of a thing. Whereas if you just leave it out there, leave her to it. And again, don't misinterpret what I'm saying in this video. I'm just making this video because this gave me an idea for a video. I'm not condemning anyone. I'm not saying, oh, you're bad, you're wrong, you're doing it wrong. I'm just giving some advice on the answer to this question of when do you do this? And the answer is always. And sometimes it's not going to be met with happiness. I'm trying to think of another word. It's not. She's not going to like it sometimes. So let's put it that way. But she will respect you and appreciate that, and will see that you are always providing this emotional and physical safety for her. And in the long run, that will cause her to have more respect for you. That will allow her to be more relaxed in her feminine, right? Especially if you start doing this and you haven't been doing this. Do you think that she's going to trust you? No, absolutely not. She's going to think that you're being controlling, that she's going to think you're going to be overbearing. She's going to think that you're incompetent, that you can't handle the situation, that why are you doing this? What are you trying to prove? All of these things are going to be thoughts that she would have, because you would have those thoughts if someone, and I'm not saying that completely abdicating. Definitely, if someone was completely abdicating their authority and their responsibility. But even if you're just being somewhat passive, but you would feel that same way if someone was being somewhat passive, and then all of a sudden they started taking control of things and taking care of things. You would wonder what is going on. So you have to be consistent with this, and you in all of these things, right? This is the key thing. I will always say this to you guys, which is everything you do as a man, you do in love. You do it out of love, right? That means that you're not doing this out of ego. You're not doing this out of, this is what I, this is this false sense of pride. There is a pride in being a man, but you're doing it out of love because you care about the people that you're taking care of, right? And when you do things out of love, just like I have a daughter, I discipline my daughter, meaning that she has consequences for her actions. I don't like to give her consequences, right? I've had to take away her phone. I've had to make it where she could not do some activities. There's been consequences that she's had, no electronics, things like that. All right. Or she's had to apologize to the class for being late. Those type of things. Those are consequences. I don't like doing those things. I don't like it. I'm not. It's not punitive. It doesn't bring me any satisfaction at all. She doesn't like it, but I do it out of love. Right. That's what it means to be a man. That's what it means to be a father. And as a man, you are always a father, whether you have a child or not. That is the the identity that you should have is being fatherly, and so in doing so, that comes from a place of love. It should not come from a place of anger or anywhere else. So everything I tell you, I'm telling you, that's where it should be coming from, and and you can do all of these things that I'm saying, and you can do them in a place that's not coming from love, or you can do it from a place that's coming from love. All right, that's enough of this video. If you haven't joined up with the Bulldog Mindset membership, I don't know what you're doing at this point, what you're doing with your life. Click the link down below. Join us in there, and I'll see you tomorrow.